Hello, this is Furry Murray 7, and I'm going to show you the complete area guide of Heide's Tower of Flame and the Cathedral of Blue. Now, first of all, you can remember that if you scroll down into this video's description, you can click those little buttons and you can skip ahead to whichever part you want to see. There's also some parts where I explore parts of this in more detail in a separate video. This video is meant to be just how to find the items and how to get through the area. It's not meant to be a guide on some of the NPCs and stuff you can find. So if you want those guides, you're going to have to scroll down to the video description and click on those videos. So, to get to Heide's Tower of Flame, starting from Majula, you go through this area right here. The area back there that had the contraption on it, you will not be able to interact with that until you find a certain NPC located in Heide's Tower of Flame. Now up here, this lever right here is the lever used to open the door if you need it. But you shouldn't need it because there's a bonfire coming up pretty soon. Now, right when you get out here, there's actually going to be a bonfire to your immediate right. You can actually see it from right here. You don't have to fight this guy first. You can run down and light the bonfire first if you want to. But these giants, there aren't very many giants in this map, actually. It can seem like there are a lot because they have quite a bit of HP, and they can take a while to kill. But these guys aren't really that bad. Now, this next guy coming up, this guy has a mace. This guy does not respawn. He drops a Sublime Bone Dust. If you go down into this video's description, you can I actually have a playlist of all the videos of how you can find all of the Sublime Bone Dusts and how you find all the Estus Flask shards. So, after this guy is killed, he drops a Sublime Bone Dust. It's not going to appear in your inventory automatically. You're going to have to pick it up as an item drop. So if you leave it on the ground and you die, you won't be able to get it. Some people have reported that they weren't able to get this. So make sure after this guy is dead, you pick up this item immediately and don't ignore it. It's a Sublime Bone Dust. And take the Sublime Bone Dust over to the bonfire. No, take the Sublime Bone Dust to a bonfire and burn it, and it'll increase your SS plus. Now this guy right here, you can actually push him off with spells. He won't approach you unless you get really close to him. After he dies, there's going to be a contraption that rises out of the ground right behind where he was standing, and you walk up to it. That kind of usually keeps his shield up the entire time, but you can push him off the edge. But just so you know, after he dies, don't forget to run over and push this contraption. It raises the floor of that big building in the background, and it's going to make the boss fight a lot easier. When you get to this room, there's going to be a big round room with 3 statue guys into it. It's mostly going to be a lot easier to kill these guys with ranged spells, and then keep your distance from them and attack them one at a time. Try to get them to follow you through that little opening. So after they're dead, run through. There's going to be a contraption that rises out of the floor in this room as well. Make sure you turn the handle of that contraption, and it's going to raise the floor of the building directly ahead in front of you. That contraption will not appear until after all 3 of those guys are defeated. So make sure those guys are dead, and then don't forget to do that contraption. So when you climb down here, make sure you kill this other guy who's blocking this fog gate. He doesn't have a shield, so he won't be able to block your ranged attacks, so he should be very easy to kill. After he's dead, you can turn, don't go through the fog gate just yet until you're ready, because there's a boss immediately on the other side. Turn over to the right, and very, very carefully walk across that ledge. Now, you don't have to walk across the ledge if you don't want to. You can jump across to the other side if you're feeling up to it, but walking across is just as good. Now, before you go through, you can, if you're in human form, you can actually summon this NPC phantom. I don't like to summon other player phantoms to help me because, just in case, for those of you who don't have an Xbox Live connection and you want to figure out how to beat the boss without Xbox Live or without PlayStation Network or whatever internet connection you're using. But this guy is an NPC phantom, so even if you're not connected to the internet, you can still summon him. Merciless Glencour. This guy actually comes in handy because after you defeat this boss, you can actually summon him again and have him help you defeat the next boss in this area. Now this guy actually pretty easily if you let Merciless Glencour do all the work. Just roll and make sure to stay behind him. And it's actually pretty easy. There you go. After the boss is dead, don't forget to go up along the edge of this room. There's some stairs that you can walk up. Walk up the stairs, and there's a bonfire. So don't run back to the bonfire you started from just yet, because there's an instant bonfire right after this boss. Rest at the bonfire. And make a note of this area because you'll be returning here later on. There's Licia of Lindeldt right there. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to exhaust all of her dialogue before you move on.
Are you from
Talk
these parts?
to her and then click the talk option until she
Licia.
starts repeating herself. You
I've
can
come to
also
spread
buy
the
some
art of
miracles from
miracles.
her, but after you're done doing everything you want to do, exhaust all of her dialogue, and then what you should do is you should warp back to the first bonfire. Now, I actually have a separate video on Licia of Lindeldt. Go down in the video description and click the link to see my video all about everything you need to know about Licia. So now it's time to go in the big circular room and go the other way this time. We're gonna go down here, and you gotta kill these guys. It may be better if you try to lure them out through that narrow passageway into the round circular room if you don't have magic. But again, there's no reason why you wouldn't already have magic, so that shouldn't really be an issue. Then once you get out here, make sure you go down here. There's going to be an item on a body next to the edge. Don't fall off the edge, otherwise you'll die. But make sure you get that item. Then you'll have to go up here. What even more items? So there's going to be a guy ahead. After he dies, there's going to be another one of those contraption switches that'll rise up from the ground. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. So you'll hear that sound, and then the contraption thing will rise from the floor, and then when you pull it, you'll lower that drawbridge up there. Don't worry, it won't hit you. Even though if you look up at it, it looks like it's going to hit you, but it's not. Okay, so you'll come up, and through this fog gate, there's another boss. But before you go through the fog gate, make sure you turn to the left and get these items over here. Now, there is a... if you want... this boss is pretty easy, but if you want, you can go back and summon that NPC Phantom that we saw earlier. Merciless Glencour. Merciless Glencour will help... can help with this boss fight, even though the boss fight is fairly easy. You just gotta stay behind him, like last time. Roll toward him when he attacks. Kind of roll toward him and to the right. So if you want, you can go all the way back and summon that NPC Phantom from earlier. Summon him, and you can make him... He will actually follow you all the way back to the fog gate of the boss. So, just start running back, and he'll follow you all the way back to the Dragonslayer. So run back up here with Merciless Glencour. Then again, you don't have to summon the NPC, but he's available for you if you want to summon him. And then go through the fog gate whenever you're ready. And then the boss will come out. This guy's attacks, it's best to try to roll toward him. His attacks have pretty long reach, but he does not do a very good job of preventing you from getting behind him. So if you can manage to get behind the boss, or if you have summoned the NPC Phantom, you can just have the Phantom tank for you while you deal out damage. That's always one of the best options. And then the boss goes down pretty quickly. And that's it. See how quickly that boss fight went by? Anyway, you'll get the old Dragonslayer soul. You should save it if you want. You can actually trade that soul for a weapon with a merchant later on in the game. So you might not want to use it just yet. But if you go out the other side of the boss room, there is an NPC here. Chances are you will not be able to do anything with this NPC the first time you meet him. This guy is Blue Sentinel Targray, and he will only be able to interact with you if you have a certain item called a token of fidelity. When you have the token of fidelity, you'll be able to talk to Targray, and you can join the Blue Sentinel Covenant, which is kind of like the second half of the Way of Blue Covenant. So, if you want more info on that, I will have a video detailing that. But anyway, after you finish up there, go down here. There's a bonfire, and what you're gonna do is sit at the bonfire, and you're gonna warp back to the Tower of Flame bonfire. the bonfire that Licia of Lindeldt was sitting at. So you're gonna warp to that bonfire whenever you're ready. So when you get here to the bonfire, simply run down to this little archway, and this is actually the part to get that leads to the next area called No Man's Wharf. But before you get there, there's some items that you are going to want to get. First of all, before you go out the door, run to the side of the spiral staircase and grab this item. Then you can go out the door, but don't go too far out because there are a couple of giants that are sitting out waiting for you. There's one that you can see across the hall, and there's another one around the corner. So don't run rushing out there. Don't run out there without looking. Of course, you should kind of remember that all the time. It's never a good idea to just run out without looking in Dark Souls. For those of you who are used to playing first-person shooters and Call of Duty games, this game is not like that. I always like to tell people, this game is only as hard as you want it to be. The only people who complain about this game being hard are the people who don't play it right. You're supposed to look around corners before you run through. Use your camera and rotate it so that you can see people hiding around corners. Anyway, after those two guys are gone, run across here so you can grab these items. There's an item here, and there's also more items inside of this little niche. And then you can run down these stairs. There's going to be some more items down here, but there's going to be more statues. Now these guys will not be able to fit through these archways. So a good way to fight these is stand on the other side of them and shoot magic. And you'll be able to hit them with impunity. You won't have to worry about anybody hitting you through the archway. There we are. There's going to be a guy around to the right. Dispose of him. You can use the same tactic on him. Just lead him to the archway if you want to. And when you get over here, you can go down this elevator. And when you get down the elevator, the gates will open and you will be brought to a place that looks very similar to the place you were in the first time, except that this time there's going to be water on the bottom of the floor, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to maneuver. So your roll speed will be hindered a little bit, and your run speed will slow down, so make sure you be careful of that. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult to fight, but once you get here, you're going to kill this guy standing in here. Kill him, and then once he's dead, go up here, go up the stairs. There's going to be a chest here with an item in it. A lot of people miss that when they first get to this area, so don't forget about that chest. And then you are free to go back down the way you came and then move on to the next area, which is going to be No Man's Wharf. And then when you go down this cave here, you'll get to a bonfire. You'll be in No Man's Wharf. You'll get to a bonfire, and you will see an NPC sitting over there named Licia of Mira. She is a very, very, very helpful NPC, and she has an exceedingly long quest line, so when you're standing next to her, make sure your fingers are off the trigger so you don't accidentally attack her. And don't drop the controller on the ground so that one of the buttons get pressed, and you press the attack button, and you attack her. So make sure that you exhaust all of her dialogue. Keep talking to her until she starts repeating herself. And then after you sit at the bonfire, she will teleport to the next location. I will have a video all about Licia of Mira coming up, so make sure you scroll down to the video description and see it. And make sure you watch my other videos. Scroll down to the video description and watch my video on Licia of Lindeldt. She's the merchant that you met in Heide's Tower of Flame. So make sure you watch that video. She has a pretty interesting quest line as well. And thank you very, very much for watching. And make sure that you please like and subscribe and watch my other area guides. I'm making full item walkthroughs of all the areas in this game. So make sure you click the link right there on the screen, or you can scroll down and look in your scroll down and click the link in the video description. So thank you very much for watching.
You are an odd one I can see. I come. Don't hesitate to call upon me. Whatever happens, I won't be missed.